Hi, and welcome to this week's Mortgage Broker broadcast. Podcast a couple of weeks ago was about accountability and the different options you have as a self-employed mortgage broker or a business owner with regards to accountability. What I wanted to do over the coming weeks was delve a bit deeper into each option. And this week I wanted to focus on self-accountability. I'm going to look at what is self-accountability, how to take ownership for yourself and why that's important, and also as well focusing on your journey and no one else's. So that's what we're going to talk about in this week's podcast. Before that, though, here's Leigh Rowland with the weekly Mortgage Broker Bulletin, and this week he's talking about diary management.
Thank you, Craig, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Mortgage Broker Bulletin. Behind me is the iconic Pontypool Park with a Pontypool front row. Caused chaos in the 70s. Anyway, on to the bulletin. Today is a little bit about diary management. Now, I've been caught out by it this week. My diary management wasn't great. We had a quick meeting and it looked like that some of our clients have been waiting a little bit longer than they should without any substantial update or solid update. So now, taking a couple of hours to sort my diary out. Got all different colours, which I'm quite chuffed with for appointments, meetings, research, focusing, planning. And now it looks like I'm pretty organised and I'm ready to go. So I just thought I'd pass this on to you guys. Try and get your diary sorted, plan effectively, and then you'll be more efficient. Good luck with the diary management, time management. It is hard when we got different things changing all the time, but it's obviously the way forward. On that note, onwards, upwards and forwards. Have a great week and I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks for that, Leigh. Thanks for your honesty there with regards to diary management and time management. And thanks for your weekly input with the Mortgage Broker Bulletin. So now let's get into podcast. And as I said, we're talking about self-accountability. As I've said before, being self-employed does offer freedom, flexibility, but also challenges. And one of those challenges is accountability. And so what I wanted to do is look at self-accountability. What is self-accountability, why it's important, and why it's also important to focus on your journey. So really, what is self-accountability? Well, self-accountability is like a practice of you holding yourself responsible for your actions, your decisions, and the outcomes of those decisions that you make. It's about being proactive with managing your goals, managing your tasks, and taking responsibility for yourself, for your business, without those external pressures, without anybody else's influences in terms of what you're doing. So that is what self-accountability is. So really what I want to do is look at, like say, a deeper dive into what self-accountability entails. So I'm going to look at 10 points with regards to self-accountability. So the first one is setting clear goals. I think that is important because holding yourself accountable, you have to set clear, defined goals, achievable goals for yourself. Those goals act as a bit of a guiding point, helping you stay focused on what you're wanting to achieve. And really those goals are aligned with your objectives in terms of what you achieve. So the first thing is to do is make sure you are setting clear goals. The second one is then setting a clear action plan around those goals. So once your goals are set, it's then developing your action plans, outlining the steps you need to take to accomplish those goals. And it was sort of breaking it down into sort of more smaller chunks, more manageable tasks, and it helps you to make progress more tangible and more achievable on those long-term goals you've set. Creating a plan will help you sort of stay on track with that. And with the thing as well, that is the third point then is establishing a deadline. That's important as well because self-accountability involves setting deadlines for your tasks, for your projects, for your goals and what you should achieve. If you don't have those, well, deadlines give you that sense of urgency, keeps you motivated, keeps you on track, keeps you to prioritize your work and manage your time effectively. Funnily for what Leigh talked about earlier with regards to time management, establishing deadlines will help you not to kick that task, that goal, that objective, whatever it is down the road, if you set your deadlines for your goals, that will help you with your self-accountability without a shadow of a doubt. So again, that is important with regard to, and that is point 3. Point 4 as well, then moving on with that, is then monitoring the progress with regards to it. So I talk about it a lot in terms of reviewing, journaling, and all the other things with regards to helping you become a successful mortgage broker and business owner. Like I said, one of those things, point 4, is monitoring that progress. So self-accountable individuals will monitor their progress towards their goals. They will do that. They sort of keep track of their what they're achieving with regards to goal. They're assessing their performance as well, and also as well, you have to adjust the strategies that are needed to stay on track. So again, with regards to self accountability, is again, you will need to adjust from time to time with regards to making sure that you're staying on track. Point 5 is taking ownership of your mistakes, which that requires quite a bit of discipline, really, and we'll come on to discipline in a second. But people who are self-accountable will acknowledge their mistakes first of all, and then take responsibility for their mistakes instead of blaming external factors or blaming other people or making excuses for themselves. You need to sort of take ownership for those mistakes. You need to reflect on your actions and also learn from those mistakes as well. That's important because you wanting to strive to improve and to grow. Then taking ownership for your mistakes is part of that growth, part of that taking ownership, part of that learning and developing yourself is taking ownership for your mistakes. Point 6 is maintaining discipline. Again, you have to taking self accountability. You have to exhibit discipline, and you've got to work on your habits. You've got to work on your routines. I've talked about habits time and time again on this podcast, and you've got to work on that with regards to maintaining discipline. Stop procrastinating on things you need to get done. Staying focused on your priorities, and you're consistently putting in the effort required to achieve your goal. So maintaining that discipline, and like I say, it is keeping in line with your goals, keeping focus on what you're wanting to achieve does require discipline, and you have to have that when you look at self accountability. Again, point 7 is seeking feedback and self reflection. I talked about reviewing a couple of points ago, but self accountability involves seeking feedback from others. You can do that, but it's more importantly, when you look at self accountability, it's about getting feedback from yourself. It's about giving yourself constructive criticism. It's about taking ownership. It's about reflecting on your performance and using those insights to then enhance your further actions, enhance your further decisions in terms of you and your business and your goals. So again, seeking feedback, but more importantly, self-reflection is important as part of taking self-accountability for your business and for you as a mortgage broker. That's point 7. Point 8, which is an important one, which is sometimes forgotten, is about celebrating the successes. I've talked about before. Self-accountable individuals will celebrate achievements as well and celebrate those milestones along the way. Why is it important to do that? Well, that will give you a bit of a morale boost. That will, by celebrating the successes, rewarding yourself for achieving and being on track, will boost your morale. It will reinforce positive behaviors that you need to have when you're looking at self accountability, and it will continue. It will help you stay motivated and keep on track and stay motivated to ensure you're working towards those future goals. So again, it's important. Like I said, point 8 is about celebrating that success. Point 9, and what I talked about a little bit before, is adapting to the challenges. You will face challenges as a broker, as a self-employed business owner. You will face challenges, and being self-accountable, you're resilient to the challenges that you face and the setbacks you face. You need to understand that you're going to face setbacks. You're going to have challenges being a broker. So you've got to adapt to those challenges. You view those obstacles really as opportunities for growth, and you will adapt your strategies, your business plans. I've talked about before about tweaking your business plans around the challenges that you face. It's okay to do that. It's okay to tweak it in terms of the challenges, because you've got to be adaptable to the challenges you're going to face, and you've got to be persistent with your objectives and your goals. That is part of being a mortgage broker. You've got to have that persistency. So that is point 9, is being adaptable to the challenge as well. And the last one is about self-compassion. And what I mean by that is when you are holding yourself accountable and sort of emphasizing personal responsibility, it's also important to practice as well self-compassion. So what I mean by that is you're not too hard on yourself. You are going to hit obstacles. You are going to have challenges. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. But it's important not to be too hard on yourself. Yes, you want to come back. Yes, you're going to be persistent. Yes, you've got to have that fight and that focus. However, don't be too hard on yourself, because you've got to stay persistent. You've got to stay on track. And if you are too hard on yourself, you might lose focus. You might give in, and you won't have that persistence. So again, you need to understand that you will face challenges. You will have setbacks. You will have good days, bad days, good weeks, bad months, good weeks, bad weeks, good months, bad months. That will happen as an individual. We all face those challenges, but it's about not being too harsh on yourself, having that bounce back, having that resilience, and then coming back, fighting even stronger. That's important. So, as I said, just to recap and looking at those 10 goals, 10 things you need to look at with regards to self-accountability. It is about setting yourself clear goals. It is about creating that action plan or that business plan. It is about getting the deadlines and then monitoring the progress to those deadlines, taking ownership for your mistakes, maintaining the discipline, seeking feedback, and self-reflection is so important. Celebrating the successes, you have to do that. Being adaptable to the challenges, and not being too hard on yourself when it doesn't go your way, because you need that to bounce back. Those are the 10 points in regards to self-accountability. But overall, self-accountability is taking ownership for your journey. And this is your journey. I always sort of say that it's about running your own race. And if you're just focusing on yourself, focusing on what you can control, but you've gone down the route of the option of being self-accountable, making sure that you are being self-accountable day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and looking at those 10 points that I've talked about will help you to take ownership for yourself and for your business. That is important. It requires self-awareness, it requires discipline, but it requires commitment. And you've shown that commitment to become a self-employed mortgage broker. You've shown that commitment to become a business owner, and you've chosen the route of self-accountability, then making sure that you are following each step and you are holding yourself accountable, because you need to have accountability to be a successful broker, to be a business owner, as I've talked about before. That's it. That's this week's podcast. Thank you for listening. Any comments, thoughts, feedback, please leave them in whichever platform you watch or listen to this podcast. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a quick rundown. I've gone on sort of for 15, 16 minutes about self-accountability. Hope that makes sense. Any questions you've got, please DM me. Anything you want, any feedback, no issues in terms of DM me. And also, as I said, and as I've covered in the podcast, and I will talk about it again in future podcasts coming up, it's all about running your own race. Self-accountability is self-accountability. Don't get distracted by other noises that are going on. If you've chosen the route of self-accountability, stay on point, stay focused on what you wanted to achieve, and run your own race.